Okay, the next item on the agenda is item 11, is to consider and or approve the Class C agreement with City of Borger, City of Fritz, and City of Stinnett. Monica, did you have anything on that? This is just the agreement to house the Class Cs. Okay, and Craig has reviewed all of those, which they all are basically the same except for different cities.
Correct.
Did anybody have any questions? All right, do I hear a motion?
Move to approve the Class C agreement with City of Borger, City of Fritz, and City of Stinnett.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, item 12, consider and or approve the grant for routine airport maintenance program. And this is what we call the ramp grant. We get it every year. It's what, 50,000? Yeah.
Yep.
So, and Craig has reviewed this, I believe. I think I sent it to him.
The same thing comes around every year.
Every year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the grant for routine airport maintenance.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, and item 13 is to consider and or approve service renewal with AARC Environmental. I don't have anything on that.
So the only thing, there's not really anything that is changing. Prices are the same. I have a copy of them if you want to.
Yeah, do,
Explain this to us.
There's a few of them in there. So our, they help us keep track of basically the state regulations of spills, prevention of spills, and keeping our firm up to date.
Around the fuel station.
Since we sell fuel, there's regulations on
Come up
how
here.
big our berm has to be.
here,
So come up here so we can hear you.
If you wanna, you can move that stand over if you.
all of these are the same, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So let me ask you a question. These are from 21. Did we apply in 22?
Not exactly sure on 22. But what ARC is they're the company that keeps us in check and does the inspections on the airport as far as, for example, the berm around the fuel farm, are we leaking on the trucks?
Just so you can be compliant.
Yes, sir. Basically, that's what it is. And I asked Mr. Alonso Cantu, he's a rep with them that takes care of us. And it's all the prices are the same every time they come to the airport do an inspection. That's the prices on it. Which is the main thing I was worried about. That's what we pay for.
They do quarterly inspections, right?
Yeah, it looks like they do first quarter, second quarter, fourth quarter.
I guess we do this every year. I don't remember this.
Yeah, it's never come in front of.
Well, yeah, these Dennis signed it. It's the airport manager.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So we
But
need,
I asked him for info and that's pretty much the only thing he had.
Right. So we are required to do this just for those quarterly inspections, right? The price is still 4,200. Okay.
that's the same as it was last year.
I just had one last week. Inspection was good. We're always in check, fortunately.
It says the terms of this agreement are found in the master service agreement, which has been previously signed. But that was back in 21,
I'm assuming Dennis just been signing off on this and
I'm guessing.
I don't know.
So I don't have
Brought it to
this-
the court because
Yeah,
it
as you should, yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah. This is a contract.
Yeah,
will you look and see if you can find the master service agreement?
I will do that.
And we probably need to update that with, like maybe my signature.
Yeah.
So before we sign this one, I mean, I'm fine with this since nothing's changed, but I think we need to get an updated master service agreement. So you might want to holler at that guy and say, hey, can you send us an updated master service agreement so I can get that approved through the court?
And that's why I brought it to the court, because it's a contract.
Right,
Right.
yes, yeah, it is an
I
agreement.
didn't be comfortable signing it.
Should have always
Yeah.
been here.
Yeah.
I appreciate you bringing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
is this also the drain system
Yes.
that they're always
We
checking?
have 1, 2, 3, 4 drains on the field. They go and look at them, make sure there's nothing around them, make sure that, I mean, our flight line is way far from those drains, but they still have to be looked at in that one thing.
Yeah,
They look at our trucks, our fuel farm, our fuel tanks, drains, and if there's a shiny spot on the ramp, that oil, is it fuel, why is it there? What do we need to do to get it fixed?
Yes. Yeah, I agree with the judge. I don't have any problem with this. It's just,
I'll work
we
on
need to
that.
see the contract. Or
The master service agreement.
Service agreement, yeah.
I think this is something you have to have as far as text dot goes too.
I'm sure.
So, that's how it originated.
Rules and regulations.
Yep.
Yeah,
Is there a deadline on this? Because it looks like when Dennis signed this one that we have the copy of, it was in March. So,
As far as I know, ma'am. 'Cause
okay,
You just got this to me, back last week.
okay. So could we, table this for now until we get that information on the master service agreement?
I'll get on that today.
We're not like on a deadline, right?
I don't think we are, no, ma'am.
Okay.
But I'll call.
Are y'all okay with that?
I'm fine. Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
I'll call them back today and I'll get all that info and
Perfect.
on your desk as soon as possible.
Okay, all right. So I hear a motion then to table this until our next
I
meeting?
move to table this agreement with AARC Environmental.
and I'll second
Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, all right, thanks.
it. Thank you.
One other thing, yes, you do.
Yes.
Fuel Yes, item 14, consider and or approve airport fuel prices. We had discussed this, but Otsar has a little more.
So I wanted to ask what is moving us to move away from, for example, the airport manager working on the fuel prices to the commissioner's court?
Like we talked to. You have to have a target price. You have to have something to go by. So that's what we did last time, but after talking to you, I understand what you're saying. You need a little leeway, but sometimes you have to move prices a little bit outside of that just to be competitive so people don't leave.
Yes.
I understand that, but
Outside the range that the
Yeah.
court set.
well, such as we have it set at 90 cents, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And sometimes your competitors do miss. So, I mean, sometimes things change a little and you have to bump your prices down a little bit.
So like you said, our competitor is Dumas, and it's very amazing how 10, 15 cents a gallon will deter people, to bring people in or deter people. And one of my biggest factors that I use for that is other airports around us. Whenever, for whatever the reason may be, they change price, let's say they drop fuel price, whether it be 5 or 10 cents a gallon, I have to do the same. Right now, we're enjoying really good profit margin, which, I mean, they're great. But I can't always guarantee that price.
Right.
And so, for example, if they drop a price, worst case scenario, I have to stick to a margin that you set me. I have to tag that onto the price. And if I can't go under that, the airport gets pretty lonely.
Right.
And that's kind of what my issue was.
So how much flexibility are y'all comfortable with?
I think we still need our target price. We still need to keep that's what we're shooting for, but
Does it ever go over 15 cents difference?
Yes, yes, it has happened before. It's not common, but it has happened.
If you had a percentage that you were allowed to work with them, but your target price still stays where it's at. But,
Well, you'd have
I
to,
can see a 25% or so variance in there sometimes, but 25-30%, but
Could you
that's
make
not
it
something
to
you should
where-
normally use.
You just like use a range of profit margin, so he can set the profit margin from anywhere from 10% over rack to 50% over rack or something that gives
So that's
him.
kind of what we're doing. We got 90% profit margin or 90 cents profit margin.
Well, the way that we
now.
made it, it was 90 cents, so it's rack plus 90 cents,
But
period.
that's it. But if we had like a percentage to go, you could work within say a 30% under that. I don't really see that's not a set price, but I still don't really see a big problem with that. Well,
no, I don't either. And say, just to, say, stay competitive. If the other airports are doing that, I mean, I can't see anything wrong
Right.
with them doing the same thing.
that's-
We could add that to it,
I can see
stay
your
with the
point.
other airports.
It's very.
You're gonna
it's almost
lose a lot of
comical how-
people if you don't do something.
It's
Well-
almost comical how whenever, for example, Dumas goes 5 cents under us, it's almost comical. You can see it. People stop flying in.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be able to keep is if whoever it is moves, I can do the same
Right.
and not have to stick to a certain.
I could only see a problem if you went under what the rest of the airports are doing.
Yeah, I don't.
Then maybe you'd have to come to us.
You can't
But-
use that for a price war on your part. So. What's everybody else think?
I think go ahead.
Oh, I agree. I know that we're kind of in competition, but if we pay $2 a gallon and in order to keep the planes coming, we're going to drop it to offer our customers $1.50 a gallon, then we lost 50 cents a gallon. And I know we're not in the money making business, but we need to kind of break even more than we need to compete against the other people. And I understand the foot traffic is most important, but we also got to be careful that we're not giving away fuel just to keep people
Well,
landing
I
in our
don't think
planes.
the other airports are gonna give away fuel either.
You're not going under cost with this. You're still gonna be making money. You're just not making as
Okay.
much money.
Yeah.
You're still
Okay, that's
making,
all.
you're still making a pretty good profit. It's just that it's not as much as you were shooting for, but
What
Okay.
allows me right now, what had been allowing me to move that was the margin. The big margin, I don't mind eating up a little bit of that.
yeah, I can,
And still make money.
I think well, how does this sound? If you had we set our target price, which we did, and then you're allowed a variance of 30%. But you still shoot for a target price, but if you can't do it, I understand. Does that make sense or not?
Could you work in that?
I'll take as much percentage you give me. I'm gonna push for more.
Yeah. Or do we leave it open-ended? I don't know.
I don't have a problem leaving
What
it
if
open-ended as long as we make the target price.
What if you just set the minimum profit margin? And
I'm glad you said that, because that's.
like you
actually
said,
what I was
we
shooting
have to have at least 10% over cost, no matter what, and then you can go above or below, above that, but you can't.
At
go
your
below
discretion.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I like that. You give me.
I still want a target price because we don't want to use this for a price war, and we don't want
We
to,
try to stay away from this.
we still have to have a shoot for a target,
I would think with the fluidity of the
But-
fuel prices, it would be hard to have a set price.
Right.
so. But
Yeah, it's always been.
Because it always is up and down and up and down.
Yeah,
And price wars, as far as we have been in price wars before in years past, and it's not, nobody likes that. Nobody, I don't know what Dumas does, but if they drop the price, it's not good for them either. Yes, bottom line, they make money, but that starts, like you said, a price war, and everybody has to follow, and that hurts everybody. So yeah, we stay away from that. I mean, if we wanted to right now, I could drop the price and start one, but that doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, we don't want to get involved in that.
So I was thinking maybe if you folks gave me a number, you don't want me to go under. So we make our price that is set. But I still keep that ability to move accordingly.
I think a percentage makes more sense than a set cents, like 90 cents. If you could say 30% over cost, or 10% over cost, or 25% over cost, and set that minimum profit margin.
What do y'all think?
I'm still looking, I still want to see a target price. For me, I mean, that just sounds better. And then you move it up or down, then yeah, you can do that, but just try to have something to go by, not just open-ended.
Chris and Dwight, any comments or thoughts on that?
I'd mentioned mine. I have no problem with him. I mean, that's why we have an airport manager. He has the freedom to move that what he sees fit, because we have no knowledge on the gas prices and that. I mean, that's his realm. So as long as we get our job is to make sure that we don't lose money for the taxpayers. So as long as we get that covered, I have full faith in him that's why we hired him.
And
I agree with you.
and if I may ask also, I was kind of curious, what is it that started this, that having to take that away from, like I said, the airport manager?
So we have discovered in the last year and a half that all money coming in and out of the county has to have the fingerprints of the commissioner's court on it somehow, some way. All contracts have to have the fingerprints of the commissioner's court and be approved or denied by the commissioner's court. And this was knowledge we just uncovered a year ago in understanding that role. And so that's why all of a sudden it's not personal. It's not towards you. It's actually, we learned our role as commissioner and commissioner's court. And so that's why we're involved now when we wasn't in the past.
It's kind of like this.
Why can't we do that?
Dennis always signed and we didn't really know. We really should have come through the
We have
court.
to have rules, guidelines. That doesn't mean anything against you. It just means that we have to have something to go by.
Against me, it's just, it kind of sometimes will bind us.
No rules is really a bad rule.
So, but that's the issue I wanted to bring up. Hopefully finding a better way. And I like Alicia's idea. If you're giving me a percentage, I can't go under.
I'm fine with that. I think you're going to make the best decisions for the airport. That's why we hired you.
Yeah, that shows your performance. And that's what we look at.
Whenever I saw the number we said last meeting, that really hurt us when I can't guarantee that price. And I have to tag on those 90 cents or $1.47. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever fluctuation we get, I won't be able to handle that because I'll have to tag that on. And it gets pretty comical how lonely the airport gets. We feel it. We really, really feel it. So I just want to be able to maintain at or below everybody else around us.
It's like you said, the 90 cents and the $1.47, we're at a high profit margin right now because of the cost of fuel. And that's just what it was whenever you came to court that day.
Yes.
Is that a typical profit margin or no? Is the typical profit margins usually 50 cents or 30 cents or whatever?
We in years before it had been 15, 20 cents. So what we're at right now is extremely. I just cannot guarantee that price all the time. I take the math, I take the fuel we get, the amount of fuel. And I work out the math and the price that I get, I tag on the $1.47 or the 90, whatever it may be.
Have you looked at the past fuel records?
Not all of them.
I was just wondering if you'd seen it below 10% over cost.
I thought we set that 90 on jet fuel and $1.46 on avgas based on your minimum, Baltazar. Did we not?
No, I think that's what he said the profit was.
At
That-
that,
At
Profit margin.
at present,
at that day.
yeah.
Oh, my understanding. Then I misunderstood you that day then. I thought that was the minimum profit that you tried to make at all times.
No, that price was what it was, what we were making on that day.
Well, that price was set before us, so who set it?
I did.
Right.
So when you set fuel prices, how do you go about setting the fuel prices?
So we-
What all do you look at to come up with the price for that day or that week or something?
Really and truly, other airports around us. Other airports around us, whatever. So there's one airport in Amarillo, River Falls, we just stay away from because their fuel price is ridiculously cheap. I don't even try to compete with them. Nobody does really. But really and truly, it's other airports around us, trade winds, Dumas mostly. And I try to keep them, try to take as much as we can. That's why it's $1.47.90, as much as we can, but yet still be with them and under. And if you know, I check the fuel price that they have, and if that day they move down, I move down. And what allows me to do that is that margin of that. And the ability to move within that. And because it's so good, I can eat at it a little bit and still be okay. And that's my biggest issue. If I'm locked at a certain price that I have to maintain, can be an issue.
So I just want to get this right. So, because what we said, last time we gave you the opportunity to set the price at your disposal with that markup decided by us, but you're saying that sometimes you need to go below that markup that we set. So why, you tell us what you need minimum markup to allow you to work then? Like you're saying you'll take as much percentage as you'll take, but what's the price point that we will break at least even minimum and then move forward on the changes at your disposal?
Breaking even. To be honest with you, breaking even, I don't have that price for you. I don't have that price for you right now, but it's tough.
Let's see, this affects everything because the airport's not there to make money. It's a service to the community, but what you make off of fuel and everything does help with support the airport. And we can only go, if we don't have that little bit of income from fuel or whatever, then we're gonna have to budget you more money to keep the airport open. So I mean, there's a middle of the road here. We're not trying to make a profit off the airport, but we got to keep it solvent too.
Well, that's the question. Like, that's not really the decision. The airport manager is hired to make sure that gets accomplished. And so, I mean, having the middle of the road in the commissioner's court, I don't think that's our obligation. Our obligation is to make sure we don't lose money. His obligation is to make sure we make as much money and get the traffic in as possible. That's what we hired him for.
To run the airport.
And right now, we're making money. That's just for those certain times that, you know.
That it's
whatever
tighter.
happens,
Mhm.
It's tight. But right now, we're making money. It's just sometimes it's rainy days, and with the airport, as far as aviation, rainy days are not rainy days, they're full-on storms. And that's what I'm trying to be able to keep that.
Somebody else can figure this out.
I'm trying to keep my freedom to act accordingly. That's what I'm trying to keep.
I'm with Chris. I think that's the airport manager's job. We can oversee what the airport manager's done, but I don't think we need to micromanage.
We
Well-
just have to be careful because
How are we here?
we can't give away fuel.
Well,
Right,
That's-
but I just,
yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
it's not
And
like,
that's the only thing I'm concerned about, based on the answers I've heard this morning, is sometimes we might have to take the hit to get the plans to land.
That's fine.
And I understand that to an extent. The airport costs our taxpayers $150,000, which is great. It's a luxury for Apollo, for our supporting plants that are amazing, and we love having the airport. And I know that that's just one of the things. About $150,000 or more is what costs the county each year with the airport. Nothing wrong with that. We always have those kind of things, but we definitely don't want to, as Chris said, we trust that the manager will make sure that we're not just dipping in simply because we want to compete to get a plane to land in Borger, and so we lose money on fuel. And I know we keep saying, well, that's not what we're going to do, but I haven't really heard that that's not the answer. I've heard we take a hit every once in a while to get the planes to land. So I guess, Baltazar, what I would suggest is bring us back some options. Give us some options of what you think. I know you're wanting us to solve it for you, but I go back to what Chris and Gary just said. You're the airport manager, so tell us what you would like us to do in exacts. Maybe do some legwork, since right now it's not an emergency. You say we're doing okay. It's just in that time when it isn't. And by the next commissioner's court, in my opinion, bring us back a solution to this problem. In your opinion, with numbers, not just as big as percent you can give us. Give us a percent. Give us some solutions to that.
I think what that
My
would be,
suggestion.
I think what that would be a minimum percentage that y'all wouldn't let me go under to make.
So what's that
What would that
percentage?
be? Go ahead,
on
go
that
ahead.
number.
So
So
do you keep track of the average price of fuel that you're purchasing per gallon, like every purchase that you make?
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to, I mean, I have no problem with setting it as long as we don't go under that average purchase price going forward.
I'll find that number, and yes, I have all the records, but I'll find that number, work on that number to like you said, folks, this is what I propose. This number.
Because if we set that as a court, then that would be a sliding scale from the court as well, because that also kind of cushions us going forward, that the average, if we never go under the average purchase price, 2 years from now, if it goes up, the average purchase price is still the average purchase price. So, I mean, if we set that as the court somewhere, that protects us as a court from having to constantly make that decision in court if we buffer it that way.
Going off average price with fuel prices so radical, there's times it's not going to be average. It could be well below, or it could be above.
Mhm.
But that what I'm saying is we set it as our average purchase price that he can't go below to protect the court from losing money. But then that gives him the opportunity to set the prices above or below whatever he needs going forward. But we still, because once you purchase it, it doesn't change the price of what you purchased it at. It just changes the average if you purchase it 6 months from now. And that slide scale on it. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say?
You're just talking about the average profit margin over cost, right?
No, I'm talking about the average purchase price. What's the average, what do you buy a gallon of jet fuel and avgas at right now, Baltazar?
It is
If you were to buy it today,
246. And jet fuel would be. It would be 336.
and so if we bought it at that and we said as a court that we can't go below that and give him the opportunity to set the price there, and then 6 months from now, if it's 270 and 370, the average changes up a little bit. He can't go below that, but he can also go above whatever he needs to.
What if
See,
it
the
dropped to
purchase price,
$1.47?
You're right. I mean,
purchase price
Do
doesn't
what?
have anything to do with this.
the gas
Yeah.
prices fluctuate so much.
So if it drops to $1.47,
I don't know how-
and you get to $2.47, that's not gonna be.
I don't think you can do it.
Then that
by
would drop the average to $2.
Cost.
The cost has nothing to do with this. I mean, the cost, all we're talking about is our
The
profit margin.
profit margin.
That's it. The cost is whatever it is on the rack that day. And
Which isn't, I don't really take that into account so much because we pay. What I take into account is other airports around. That's kind of what steers me more to, okay, I need to drop.
you still have to stay within a margin.
Yes.
And if they want a price war, that's out of your control.
So what
We can't fight price wars.
we really need to do is find out what the other expenditures for the airport, what kind of profit margin they need to cover the maintenance and, the other things that aren't really tied to just the fuel costs. I mean, because you've got other costs to account for so that the airport's not losing money. You find that minimum and then maybe that would.
See, this is what I'm afraid of. Nothing against you, but if you lower this down to 10 cents above cost or whatever, and there's no bottom here, you could have all of the airport business in the whole area but you're not making any money. You're wasting your time. So
That's what we hired him for, is to make that choice.
We need a bottom.
Well, I don't ever, why would I drop it down? Why would I drop it down to that?
Where we're losing.
Well, we're losing money anyways. I mean, I think, I'm not an economics expert, but I think the goal is to make money.
And see,
Why would I drop it?
like Alicia says, everything comes into play here. This is also supporting the airport. I mean, it's not paying all of it, but what you make there, that contributes to it. We need the whole picture to see.
So what if I, like y'all suggested, I find out, taking everything into account, our cost, what it costs to run the airport, break even. Figure out that number and get it to y'all folks and say, okay, this is what, if I go below this, we lose money, so let's not do that. I get you that number. And on top of that, I can work. As I need to.
All the board meetings that I attended, when Dennis was there was never any talk about price wars, gas wars with the other airports. Dumas stayed about the same. They're our biggest competitor, I think. They stayed about the same as we did. We competed with them and it never got that bad. Because they want to make money too.
They just table it and come bring us back a proposal.
That's a price war is not good for anybody. That's why the price is what it is right now, because it's only under them a little bit, but not so much to where it's a price war.
So in a typical month, how many times do the prices change, like every day or
Yes, ma'am.
potentially?
Every day I print this off.
Mhm,
And sometimes it's 30 cents, sometimes it's 1 cent,
right.
but they do change every day.
How often do you set your price based off of rack price? Because that is very important, because when you do buy fuel, that's what that's what your cost is, not necessarily what it is that day. If you buy a semi-load of fuel today and you don't buy another load for 3 weeks, then
We're still working off what you paid up for that.
yes, I mean, this is very
And then-
important when you set your price, when you set your cost. Are you setting it off rack price daily, or you set it off when you actually buy?
When we buy.
So you don't change that rate until you buy fuel next time.
Yes.
That could come back to haunt you if you're in a volatile fuel market.
This is my thought. I think because Baltazar is the one that we've hired to run the airport, and he sees this on a day-to-day basis, that we need to entrust in him the ability to set the prices to where the airport is maintaining, we are being competitive, but we're not trying to micromanage every single day of fuel prices. Baltazar's got to be able to have the leniency to set those prices according to what is best for the airport. And so if we got some kind of monthly report from him that shows fuel price, this is what I bought it at, this is what the prices were on an average daily, this is the profit margin, so we can keep track of how we're doing.
I can get you anything you need.
Then we still have a say in it, and we might say, oh no, that's not going to work. We see, for the last 2 months, we've lost money or whatever. We need you to not do this or whatever. Does that make sense? So we hired him to do a job. Let's just let him do it and report back to us.
Well, it's like everything else. This is why we have rules. This is why we have policies. That's why is because we're not telling him what to do. We're just setting guidelines.
Right.
But, there still needs to be guidelines set.
It's pretty hard to set a guideline for something that changes daily.
Right.
Again, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but fuel prices never been an issue before.
Do what?
Had fuel prices.
No,
been an issue before?
but like Dwight explained,
And I
we
understand.
need, those things need to not necessarily be total control. And the commissioner's court didn't ever really know. I think of just basic knowledge of where the fuel prices are at, and that could be a monthly report,
I can get that to you.
just so we have more knowledge about what the fluctuations are, what's going on at the airport. We were kind of, left in the dark, and that was part of our fault for not asking those questions.
I can get you all of that.
So Baltazar, I think what she's saying in so many words, you were hired to run the airport, so we need you to tell us the solution to where gas prices won't be a problem in the future. That's your solution, like Dwight said. So we, like Ben said, let's table it now. You find that solution that you're comfortable with to bring it to us to where we give you control for what you're hired to do. And then we solve it on both ends. You don't feel like you're micromanaged. We have confidence in you, and we're good to go going forward.
Agree.
I can do that.
We want you to, that doesn't mean we're going to agree with you on everything, but we need you to propose to us first.
Yes, and I'll work on that number. It's just at the time, Hey, this is a good example work. But I can get you that number. I can get you all that info. And like you said, Judge, you know, even a monthly, weekly report, if you want. This is what's going on fuel price wise. This is what I bought. This is what I sold. Everything to the gallon.
All right, so we basically come to the conclusion that we're going to table this until Baltazar can get back with a proposal, correct?
If anything, that bought me time to figure it out.
Right. Okay, so do I hear a motion to table?
I'll make a motion to table.
No second.
Oh, we have a motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, maybe our next meeting is January. I don't even have that. January the 8th.
8th.
Oh, does that give you enough time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, we'll see you back on the 8th then. All right,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
Sorry, I took up all your time.
No, you're good. Well, that was good discussion. All right, item 15 is to consider and or approve the contract with Carson County for inmate housing. This is, I believe, the same contract that we had last year. It's just an update for this year, and Craig has looked at it and didn't have any objection to the form. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the contract with Carson County for inmate housing.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? I'll get that signed in too. All right, item 16, consider and or approve the pipeline crossing on Dooley Road for Slayton Johnson.
This is an electric line crossing for Mr. Johnson. He's the one that bought the place out here on Dooley, and about a year ago, we gave him permission to run water. He bought the property across the street, so he ran water under the road to get water on that side. Now he's needing to get electricity over there. So he wanted to have a new permit in place to do that with. So that's what that is.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Move to approve.
Second,
I second.
motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, item 17, consider and or approve any ARP grant projects. I don't have any. 18, consider and or approve burn ban or rescind the burn ban. I don't have any information on that, but Jerry didn't text me and say, oh my gosh, put a burn ban on. So I think we're good for now. 19, consider and or approve disposal of obsolete office equipment. I do not believe I had any. Hey, Dwayne, do you want this? Do you want to sign this real quick? And then
I can email it to you.
Yes.
okay, perfect.
Hey, Dwayne, I'll be out of town this afternoon through Saturday.
She got those blinds in.
Okay,
And they said, look at the roof this morning.
okay,
So
thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right, item 20, accept certificates of completion from elected or appointed officials.
Do not have any.
Okay. Item 21, consider and or approve requests for the use of the club rooms at the Borger Library or Fritz. Chris, do you have any?
There are 2 baby showers scheduled for January 13th and then February 10th.
Okay, Dwight?
I don't have any today.
Okay, all right. Do I hear a motion to approve those requests?
I make a motion to approve those 2 as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Item 22, consider and or approve line item changes, transfers, and or budget amendments.
I had to do a budget amendment for the donation that was received by the library to put that money into their equipment line item. I also had the insurance proceeds for the precinct 2 barn repairs that we received. We actually received the funds last year, but they were held in deferred revenue until this year, so I just moved that into their barn repairs to offset those costs.
Okay.
And then, also Road and Bridge had ordered 2 trucks from the, last year. But it was agreed upon that since they have already been ordered, if they came in past the date, that they could still use last year budget money. But really, the only way that we can do that for this budget year is to just move it out of the contingency line item. So that's what I've done, is move the 40. We did receive 1 truck before we closed the books for last year, but I think we're still waiting on the second truck. So this is just for that 1 truck to put that extra money into their line item to cover that cost, since the books are already closed.
Okay, do I hear a motion? Ready?
I'll make a motion, we approve, the line item changes, transfers and budget amendments.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. Item 23, consider and or approve advertising, opening or accepting or awarding bids.
There are none.
Okay. 24, consider and or approve donations to Hutchinson County. There any? Item 25, consider and or approve reports from elected or appointed officials.
I have Dwayne Chisholm, Road Superintendent. He submitted 2 reports. His daily reports range from November 27th, 2023 through December 26th, 2023. And then I had Rachel Olias, Extension Agent, submitted her November 2023 Extension Activity and Travel Report. And that's it.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
What happened to Dwight? Oh, there he is. Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second? Second, okay, we have motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, item 26, discussion on the county judges and commissioners precinct daily operations. Y'all have anything?
I don't have anything new.
No? Dwight, you,
Nope, nothing from me.
anything?
We got a bid, Russell got a bid for the cameras for the airport, so we're moving along with that.
Okay,
I'll have to talk to you about the insurance money. So, okay.
all right, item 27 is consider and or approve sale of struck off tax properties or tax deeds. I didn't have any. Oh. So 28 is to adjourn into executive session in regards to section 551.072 deliberations about real property and section 551.074 personnel matters. So we will go into executive session at 10:31. You can stay for the first part. Yes, yes.
That's the.
Okay, yeah, so
Do that.
um
Have copies of all 3?
I do,
Okay.
yeah, and I'll sign them and
Just email them to me?
yeah, we'll email them to you.
Perfect, thank you.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Kelly.
Yeah, do a break.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on, guys.
Oh, man. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Oh, is Kelly come?
Yeah, she's grabbing her.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, or no, she's grabbing her laptop. Didn't have it.
Her recorder.
Oh, yeah, recorder.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, Kelly,
it's been a while.
we went out at 10:31 and back in at 11:10. And Dwight had to leave, so he's
And
no longer on Zoom.
Back in, I'm sorry.
11:10.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you might make a note that Dwight had to, he just left. But he
Okay,
was here through the whole Zoom meeting or
okay.
the whole executive session.
Just won't be for the action.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is to consider and or approve any action from executive session and no action at this time. And item 30, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Meeting
Got it.
adjourned.
If you have surgery, gone, what are we gonna do next time?
Well, I'll be here with the sling on.
Oh, okay, you'll be here,
I hope I don't have the
you'll be here next
cooler with
meeting.
me in the